Hello and welcome to Quartzlight, your car brochure channel. In today's Saturday special, we look at the Nissan Silvia ZX Turbo. Hello and welcome back to Quartzlight, your car brochure channel here on YouTube, where we look at car brochures 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. And on Saturdays we have this shortened version where we've been looking at the 1985 Nissan range. It's an extensive range at this time. If you think that might interest you, please do subscribe. It would help the channel greatly. So let's move on to this brochure for the Nissan range, and we're now up to the Nissan Silvia ZX Turbo. So here we go. I thought we'd start with the front cover, as it does actually show the Silvia Turbo on that front cover, which is quite nice. Brochure itself also reminds me of the 80s with these stripes. I don't know what it is, it just reminds me of the 80s for no reason. Pop-up headlight version, the S12. I think this was produced between August 83 and 89. North America, it was actually known as the Nissan 200SX. And then in Europe, of course, we call it the Silvia, apart from Sweden. Sweden didn't go for the name Silvia because weirdly the Queen of Sweden was called Silvia, so they thought we can't have a car named that. So they didn't go for that, they call it the 180 ZX. Weirdly. So, and I think Japan, did Japan call it the Silvia? I know Australia called it the Gazelle. I think maybe Japan may at some point call it the Gazelle as well, but anyway, I'm sure somebody will be able to correct me if that's not quite right. Anyway, not much time on a Saturday, so let's move on to that first page. Well, there we go. There is the Nissan Silvia ZX sharing the page with the 300ZX. We've covered that in the program already, so that's a page we won't be looking into anymore because we've gone into that in great detail. But here we go, the Silvia ZX Turbo. We managed to zoom in on that. So yeah, pop-up headlights. These very nice attractive alloy wheels, I think I do particularly like it. This particular one looks like it's got like a reddy coloured interior. They used to do this, if we go back to that 300ZX, they used to like putting these unusual coloured interiors in the 80s, did Nissan, and I approve, because you know, a boring colour like Silvia, you can have a bit of red in there to really cheer it up. But yeah, I do particularly like those alloy wheels, I must admit. And it's a car I don't remember that well. I'm always very honest on this program. I don't remember the Silvias that well. I don't have an awful lot of information or knowledge on the Silvias, other than it looks a quite nice looking design, really, doesn't it? But if you've got any sort of memories of the Silvia, please do jot it down in the comments. I always appreciate a nice pop-up headlight though. You can't go wrong, can you? But anyway, let's read some of the text and let's learn a bit more about this car. Okay, Silvia Turbo ZX, a new name in the Nissan range, the new type of sports coupe. The Nissan Silvia Turbo ZX is a car which turns heads wherever it goes, and it has the performance to match. The Silvia Turbo ZX is a 2-door coupe with large comfortable front seats, rear seats which fold forward individually, a large luggage area and a very high level of equipment, including a very advanced 4-speaker radio stereo unit. So that's quite clever. They had sort of a split fold seat in the back of there in a little sports car. That's quite nice. The power unit is a Nissan CA engine in 1809cc form with a turbocharger and the Nissan patent ECCS engine management system. It produces 135 bhp and 142 pounds-foot of torque. But even more impressive is the quiet, unobtrusive way which this is done. They always liked at this time to kind of like play on both sides, didn't it, Sam? Make quite a sporty car, but you know, make it a little bit comfortable, a little bit quiet, a little bit civilized. They didn't like to go all out on a performance car at this time, I don't think. The Silvia ZX is an effortless car to drive, though power assisted steering is available as an option, and it accelerates from 0 to 60 in only 8.5 seconds, then equally smoothly on up to 130 miles per hour maximum, which isn't bad for mid-80s to be honest. There's a choice of a sporty 5-speed gearbox or an automatic transmission. It has all independent suspension, servo-assisted disc brakes on all 4 wheels, and low-profile tyres on special light alloy wheels. That means road holding and handling, which are an absolute delight, and a car that sits 4 square on the road in perfect safety in all conditions. Now this is certainly a new one to me, what it mentions here at the bottom, because like I said, don't know a huge amount of Silvias, but I certainly don't remember this. To special order, there's also the Silvia 2.0 DOHC ZX, so kind of like a non-turbo version, with the famous 1991cc 4-valve per cylinder twin overhead camshaft engine, which produces 144 bhp at 6,400 rpm. It is available only with a 5-speed gearbox and otherwise is mechanically similar to the turbo model. So a special order model that wasn't a turbo, which is weird, isn't it? Because you think, oh, turbo sounds a bit fancier, but the non-turbo wasn't like the fancy model, so that's a little bit weird, isn't it? And I think this picture is of that special order model, which, like I say, I really do not remember at all, so appreciate anything in the comments to tell us about that. Showing this big bonnet bulge on the front there, so a little bit of a special one. I would imagine extremely rare today if it was a special order model. I don't know how many were sold, but it's going to be a lot less than that standard model. If we move over to the specs, it tells us about those 2 models. Like I say, you presume the Silvia just has 1 model, but they're your 2 models. So it tells you about that turbo having that 1809cc engine and that DOHC having a 1990cc engine. That's a non-turbo though, interestingly, and also only available as a manual. But I kind of think with cars like this, they should probably be. Is that wrong to say? I think they should be manuals, but I mean, whatever you prefer. I'm not here to judge either way. Disc brakes all round. Looks like the same alloy wheel on both. And then these are the fuel consumption figures. And you can certainly see straight away that the first 2 models, the manual and the automatic, are way better on fuel than that limited edition or special order model. Constant 56, 44.8 on a manual turbo, sounds good. That DOHC drops down to 33.6 though. Shame we don't have the performance figures really, isn't it, for that special order model. So normally at this point I'll say thank you for watching the Silvia Turbo. Next week's model is going to be the next model in the range. Next model in the range at this case is that 300ZX, and like I say, I've already done a big video on this one already. I'll probably just put a bit of a link at the end of this video to that one. It's a much longer episode that we did in the main weekdays, which, like I say, are much longer episodes, but there is 2 more models in the Nissan range. Hard to believe, I know it's been going on quite some weeks, this particular series, but there is 2 more models in the Nissan range. I wonder if you can guess what those are, but we'll be looking at the next one next Saturday on next Saturday's episode. Okay, so we better wrap it up there because I'm trying to keep these Saturday specials to around about the 10-minute mark. We can't be far off that now, but thank you so much for watching. If you've got any memories of the Nissan Silvia ZX Turbo, or any memories of that special order model, please do jot it in the comments. But please do like and subscribe. We'll see you very soon. Have a great weekend. Take care and goodbye.